IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. Sorry, folks, a slight delay here in the start. It's supposed to be a live show, and I know the 11 people, we've gone up to 11 now who are watching, including my mother and my sister in America. Apologize for this, but the reason is very simple. As I was entering my building here in Fountain, people mistook me for this guy called KP Gosavi, and started holding my hand and trying to take me in. And I just explained to them that I have much more hair than him. Having said that, I want to quickly rant about this hair issue. Everybody who passes me now that I've stopped coloring my hair for a bit, they come up to me and say, "Hey, your hair is white." How do we explain to people it's simple science? As you age, your hair, no matter what your hair original color was, turns white. This is a fact of the universe. I can't change that. But I'd like to just tell people to appreciate the fact that with age comes both hair loss and hair whitening. Cannot escape it. This is just my message to the youngsters who try to tell you, in case you're so stupid or you've been in a coma for the last 6 months and haven't noticed that your own hair is turning white with age. Hello, Amit. I won't be able to record today, yaar.
Why? What happened, Cyrus?
Man, I've got to go to the bank. I have to open a new account. That document filing, profiling. You got to show this card, that card, this verification, that verification. Too many processes. Man, they should have to ease these things up, yaar. There's no way a normal person can do this.
Well, there is a way to do this. All you have to do is you can do all of this sitting at home if you have a Bank of Baroda account.
Huh? But I have a Bank of Baroda account.
Awesome. Then all you really need to do to avail of 95% of all retail banking services domestically. Just download the Bob World app and use the banking services right at your fingertips.
Oh, wow, sorted. See you in the studio then. What a relief. Bank of Baroda, we live in your world. Let's get back into a good mood because we're going to talk to a very inspirational person, a guy who's worth billions of dollars, a man who believes in paying taxes both here and abroad because he has so much money. But more importantly, one of the great entrepreneurs of our time, the kind of superstar that we all look up to in the last 10 years, the guys who start from almost nothing and then within a weekend have more money than Bangladesh. Who is this man? I'll bring him on. Aprameya Radhakrishna is the co-founder of Koo. What a lovely... And when I was growing up, you had these names like Jardine Fleming and, Simmons, and they all had these very exotic sort of names, and there were sometimes two names attached to it. Now the greats of our time have these simple words which sound like sounds. It's just amazing. Even Twitter, for that matter, which is I think somebody who has to digest your birth, perhaps not in such a happy frame of mind. We'll come to that. Aprameya, first let me congratulate you on all the great work you've done. You are the co-founder of Koo. I always tell people who they are for some reason. India's local microblogging platform. Folks, it was launched in 2020. So it's just almost under 2 years and already hit the big time in a huge way. The brainchild of founders Aprameya, who we've mentioned, who's here, and Mayank Bira Wadka. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Mayank is not here, but Mayank is very much still present in the union.
Yes, of course. He's alive, kicking.
Alive, kicking, but you're the glamour face. You're the sex symbol of the business. So you are the one who has to come in front of the camera. Fair enough. I accept that. Okay, here's a big deal, which perhaps people, as usual, the great ideas are ideas we all look up and say, wow, why didn't I think of that? And the bottom line here is it's an expert-based vernacular question and answer platform in Indian languages. You all have also co-founded Bombinate Technologies, the holding company that builds products for the Indian vernacular audiences. So what you did is localize, in a word, right?
Yeah.
So there's lots to talk about. We will go into all your past stuff as well, Taxi for sure. For people who don't know, he's almost had success after success without stopping. He's the Raju Hirani of the startup world, in a sense. Whatever he touches, and may it go on forever, turns to gold. Let's start with this because this is the pressing product that we want to talk about. And then your entire story is fabulous. So let's get into it. Aprameya, we're here to pay tribute. We're your chamchas, your chelas, your followers. You are now a big man. In India, the psychophancy is part of the deal. So we are those people who stand behind you, wave people away from you, open the door for you, give you water when you don't want it, break all proximity laws, that kind of thing. So let's start with this. You and Mayank, how did this happen? The birth of Koo.
So post Taxi for sure, started thinking about what are some of the internet products, that you can build that will impact a lot of people's lives, right? So the simple observation was that initially, if you had to use the internet or any internet products, you had to have an expensive device. So it started with a personal computer at your home. It went to laptops. It went to expensive mobile phones. So these devices were only affordable to a certain small percentage of India, while the West could afford it and a lot more people got access to internet and technology products. In India, it was only a small portion right on top. So we said, okay, the observation was that the devices were getting cheaper by 2015, 2016. And the data itself, like the internet, whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's data on phone, everything was getting cheaper. So now there was going to be a huge population which is going to access internet, but the products that were available were never made in local languages and nobody knows English. It's like you and me going to France and opening a French app and, trying to consume everyday news or everyday updates from people. We won't know what they're saying. We don't know who their faces are.
Although there are erotic apps which we could manage, I'm sure, whatever the language of instruction is, but please go on.
Yeah. So we said we have to localize all the products. Internet is used in multiple ways, including what you just said. But the ones that empower are very different, right? So getting information whenever you want, Google helps us. Connecting with people, WhatsApp, Facebook. Expressing oneself, whether it's Instagram for lifestyle, what I eat, who I'm with, all of that on Instagram, Twitter with thoughts and opinions in English, right? So these are all products that empowered us. And we need to take this empowerment to everybody who has access to internet now and have to localize into local languages, which only an Indian can do. Only we understand, okay, when two Malayalis meet, they break into Malayalam and, they, even if they've never met each other ever before, they act like brothers and sisters, right? So that's the power of localization. And that's what we're doing. We're enabling thoughts and opinions onto the internet in local languages for people who had never spoken beyond their friends and family. On a WhatsApp group, when you talk about politics or whether you talk about your favorite cricketer or the shot that Virat Kohli played, all of this is in a small group. What about expressing beyond your small group? And that is what Koo enables. So that's how we kind of like started building this.
So here's a thought. You need the poor to make you rich, in a sense, which people haven't thought about. We always keep thinking, paise inke paas hai, let's target the paisa wala. But you've actually gone the reverse. No, not in a bad way. I'm just saying it. That's it, actually. Of course, you're giving them a muscularity. You're empowering them. You're giving them strength by doing that. So in a sense, it's got a very social message as well to it. Because otherwise, it was anti-social social internet in the sense that, as you said, only a few of us were access to it, and it was an elite. For our country, it was an elite tool, and for other countries, it was a binding tool because they are more homogeneous societies, I suppose, and so it's easier for them. But what a great idea this is! I mean, and immediately, obviously, the success was unbelievable. So, what are the challenges you had, but putting it together? Now we got the greatness of the idea, but logistically, was it a nightmare? Different languages, different cultures, appealing to people, separating people.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, just getting people together to build it, because we've, as the startup ecosystem, we've, over the last decade and a half, we've built transaction companies, which means you go and buy stuff on the internet, right? So there is a simple flow of, okay, I'll select what I want, then I pay for it, then it comes home, right? And that's what all our engineers, all our product managers, everybody is used to it. And even investors in India are used to investing in such companies, which basically are very straightforward, right? Building a social media network is slightly different. There is no end. Like, a user will come, they'll consume some content today. Today they'll like it. Tomorrow they won't like it, because who they follow is what defines it. So some days they're unhappy, some days they're happy about what they find on the internet, right? So it's a never-ending exploration of what Cyrus might like on Koo, and keep developing the understanding of what you might like or might not like. And you also change as a personality. You're not very simple, right? So you today you'll like masala dosa, tomorrow you'll like idli, day after you'll like pav bhaji. So, we also have to evolve with you. So keeping it as live as possible to understand every user on Koo, and making sure that you're forever going to be using Koo is something that has never been explored. So the resources.
Is there a predict? So it's a predict factor. You're sort of predicting, or is it like an algorithm which just naturally happens by looking at all the data available?
Yeah, it's an algorithm to understand what you like, right? So first we have to understand what you already like. Then we have to start saying, okay, Cyrus has started moving towards masala dosa, so we have to show more masala dosa making.
I keep getting scared you leave food and go to something more obnoxious and I'll be in trouble. But we'll stay with masala dosa. Thank God for that, which I do love, by the way. But crisp, a huge issue for me. I don't want it to be soggy. Why do they do that, Apramaya? Now that you segue to that, they keep sending us in studios and all. They keep bringing it on a plate from far and all, and just in 12 seconds it lost its texture. I keep telling him, no, masala dosa, you have to give it to me fresh. Otherwise, don't give it at all. It's for me, it's just everything. That taza, fresh.
Yeah, so here's a tip that I do. Any masala dosa parcel that comes home, you basically put it in an air fryer for a minute or two. It regenerates its crisp, and then you eat it.
What are you saying? Let me write this down. I'm the founder of Koo Worth Billions, and I'm going to get masala dosa reheating tips from him. I see. This is how the world works. You never know what you're getting from left field sometimes. All right, two questions. What is Vocal exactly? Vocal, and how do you get the name Koo?
Yeah, so Vocal is our other product, which is a question answer app. So again, empowering product which enables people to come and ask any question in local language using voice, and the community answers back that question with voice. So the new internet user is not used to, putting in a keyword and getting text results of websites. What they're used to is asking their friend a question and getting a voice answer back. So we're recreating that experience for the new internet user where you can ask anything and you'll get an answer back.
Double play on vocal. I'm so stupid. One German spelling and you threw me. Okay, got it. Sorry, go on.
And so Koo, the name. So when we thought of Koo, it was an observation from Vocal. So some of the guys who are answering questions on Vocal in local language, put a request saying, why should I only answer questions of people? Why can't I just say what's on my mind, right? So that made us kind of like confused because we already knew there were.
Kangana Ranaut is there for that. We've got a few spokespersons. Just say what's on their mind. We've got that all covered, bro. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So we said, how about existing products, whether it's Twitter or wherever else? So they kind of said, like, that's a place where there are people who are speaking in, pure English. I don't want to go there. The topics that are being discussed are not of my interest. So we said, okay, we have to create an environment. We have to make it easier for people to talk and express and, send their message to lots of people, make new connects for people in their language. So the depiction of sending messages to a lot of people is a bird, right? It did occur to us that, what if Twitter is already there. It's a bird, but it's in the English and international space. So here are users who have never seen or experienced Twitter. So, if bird is depicting truly what it is, we should just go ahead with it. I can't put an elephant or a dog or But
how about a cow? Always safe with that. Noko Paje, local language I'm using for now. Okay, fair enough. So Koo is
the sound of a bird. Yeah. So that's
the cooing of a bird. I should have done my research. I apologize. You'll never get such a bad anchor in your life who's asking you primarily stupid questions, which your first 3 lines would have covered if I'd seen the biodata properly. My apologies, Apramaya, but you must be ready for all kinds of people in this world. Let's now go back a little bit. Oh no, I should ask you one more thing. So how do you think it's shaken up the business a little bit, hasn't it? So what would you say? As effective as you thought it would be, far beyond your expectations?
I think we've accelerated a lot. I think we always wanted to make sure that everybody gets a voice, which we are doing. So there are 10 languages that are live on Koo, and people expressing to people they've never expressed before is happening. We've also been able to, excite the, top 1% of India across all the interests that Indians love, right? So whether it's cricket, Bollywood, politics, spirituality, news, media, journalism, all the top folks are almost there. Like a few more names, and pretty much the topmost layer of India has accepted Koo, and have now started expressing for the first time in local language to the local language folks. Right. So, for example, when you're using social media, you're predominantly using English. So I don't know if you know any other Indian language, but if I gave you the ability to express in Hindi at the same time, you will now reach 3x, 4x, 5x more people than you would have otherwise, right? And that unites India. That doesn't alienate the Hindi speakers or the Telugu speakers. relationships, right?
But our job is to alienate. What are you saying? I'm confused. This whole show is about alienating people. Also, when I speak in Hindi, it starts as Hindi, and by the end of it, we've got it's a new language that evolves, for which there are very few speakers. But I've been doing my best. I totally get what you're saying. Obviously, we just had somebody on marketing and sales as well, localizing MTV. We go back to MTV when we started localizing, going to the local markets, being the local cable operators, playing Tamil songs in Tamil, Hindi songs in the north, that kind of thing. We started getting much better feedback. Because people started, I think people would, more than anything else, once they identified with the product, they started feeling comfortable. And that comfort level was very important. We realized that. So no point, speaking in Hindi to a certain audience or English to another audience. You got to get the communication sort of correct. But sadly, unfortunately, I was born in South Mumbai in this elite. We had 7 drivers and silver, everything, gold. My relatives are made of gold. It's like that. No, I'm kidding. Huh? We have no money at Premier. In fact, that's why we got you on. We want 10 crores to start a project. We'll talk offline. Can we go back now to your entire, because you look like one of those guys who was just born to make bread, bro. Serial entrepreneur, literally. And I mean it with the double pun intended. Premier, you co-founded the cab aggregator Taxi for sure. But I want to go back to your life. Just take us back to as a youngster. How did it all start for you? I mean, there are 3 or 4 things that go into the skies. You just, hit it out of the park. But it had to start somewhere. So what was it like in college? What were the plans? Where did you come from?
So I'm from Bangalore. I'm a Kannadiga. Born in Bangalore.
What are you saying, da? I'm trying to localize. Okay.
Yeah, so I've done my schooling in Bangalore, college, engineering from NIT Surathkal, MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Through my education, I've never understood entrepreneurship. Right? I had never understood entrepreneurship. There were startups coming and hiring during college, and I've never attended a single interview of those. So
I was saying all the wrong things. I'm so happy. Go on. Yeah.
So I had made up my mind that I'm going to work for corporates for the rest of my life, and just try and earn as much money as I can, right? To make ends meet, and just focus on other stuff while I work somewhere else. But it all kind of changed when you actually went and worked for somebody. Like I worked for Jones Lang LaSalle, real estate consultancy, and I got introduced to actual business running. Like I went and met real estate entrepreneurs. Some of them were family offices, some of them were first-time entrepreneurs. And the kind of efforts that they were making and the passion with which they were talking, I just loved, right? And back in the company, I saw my CEO how she would work, and all the business heads how they would work, and I said, okay, I'm putting in so much effort, and I have so many ideas which nobody's accepting. Maybe I should spend 2-3 years just doing my own ideas for myself, 16 hours a day, and let's see what happens, right? So if nothing works, I'll go back to work. If something works, then great, I've given myself an opportunity. So I think that's how entrepreneurship started for me. It was by accident. It was by observing keenly.
What you're saying is a little, I don't know whether it's good or bad sometimes, because I'm thinking a lot of people identify with what you're saying. You're sitting in a corporate setup and you're thinking, I got this idea, this thing, but I'm not being appreciated. I'm underappreciated, in fact, and I'm losing the best years of my life. I can see all that, but everybody doesn't become you. I mean, it's almost scary if they leave that that sort of cocoon of safety and do what you did. Probably, they'll never be able to go back. It's downhill from there. So it's what you're saying. I can see a lot of people identifying with, but then this is very. How can I ask you this question? I apologize, but what sets you apart then? Because it's not just one idea. Most people have that one idea. It's one idea after another. So clearly, you were like a born entrepreneur. So what do you think? Is there some other qualities that you could see in yourself or other famous startup guys? Or
well, now you're saying praise yourself, right? So I don't know too much about doing that, but I think what I bet on is most of the time observing people. So I don't talk much. I'm talking a lot right now. But generally, if you see me in a setting, in a party or somewhere, I'll be in one corner, not talking too much. But I'll be observing, listening. So a lot of listening and observing leads to all of this culminating in an idea, right? So that's what I bet on. Like I'm not too busy trying to say what's on my mind all the time. I think a lot of us try to keep expressing ourselves so much that we've lost what's around us. You can solve problems of the world only if you know what those problems are. You can, latch on to an idea only if you know what other people are going through as well, right? So I think, I bet on my observation skills. and my ability to, remove the noise and focus on what matters. So I think that's the natural ability that I want to thrive on and keep building on as a strength.
So let me correct me if I understood this wrong. It's more like you're looking at the macro, the bigger picture, everything that's around you, rather than just the small tete-a-tete chat that you would have at the cocktail party with X person over cricket or the usual nonsense that we do. But although what you said scares me, because I used to sit in a corner and stare at women, and they found it creepy and they threw me out of the party. But you, on the other hand, was some idea coming. I'll make taxis available for everybody. Something came out of your head. Okay, so you're not telling us any secrets. Maybe there aren't any secrets. It's just that you got the right ideas and that's it. Otherwise, I'm sure if there was a simple formula, you'd sell it, and that'll be another bloody success for sure. And more money for you and less for the rest of us, and upsets me. But let's go back to, so which is the first one? When did Aprameya Radhakrishna break the mold? And what is the first one?
Yeah, I think here are some instances, right, from childhood. There was a time, when we were so dependent on, money from parents to go buy a cricket ball, right? So there was one time that none of us could convince our parents to give us money. And we wanted to play cricket on the streets of Bangalore. And we were wondering what to do. So I came up with an idea saying, okay, there's this medical store. He always gives these medicines in a newspaper pouch, right? So let's go. We went and asked him, okay, if we make this pouch for you, how much will you pay us per pouch? So he said some 10 paisa or something like that. And we went back, made these pouches. I think the 2 rupees per ball. So we made some pouches and went back and sold it to him. Got 2 rupees, bought a ball and played that day. Right. So I think the whole idea is, I hate being muscled into a corner, helpless. I just want to break. Like, I want to think of stuff and get what I really want, or solve for what we really want to chase.
Or we can look at it positively. You actually get turned on. It's like a positive. Your light goes on the moment you have this issue. You need to rectify it. Is that it?
Yes, absolutely. So any of my friends who come to me with a problem, I listen to them and then I get into solution mode, right? There's nothing in between. And sometimes I get wrapped for it because, they don't want a solution, right? So
this one be heard. They're not good in romance. What doesn't work in romance is working in real practical hardship situations. Yeah, fair enough. But also, I think there's another thing to it. You're successful at doing that. So then, because you're successful at doing that, it's almost like an ego thing. I've got to do this. This is what I do. I can do this. It's like a singer can sing or a dancer can dance. You can solve. You can find a solution. And yeah, so maybe that's it. I'm always trying to get into the head of the guys who are super successful, and everybody says, oh, they had this one idea, but it's more. No, it can't just be that. What sets you apart from the other people is something intangible, obviously, but just trying to figure out if there is any commonality between the 10, 20 people you see around who've really made it big. And maybe it's just that. It's just the ability to, God, I'm excited now. You've got a problem. The other guy is depressed, but you're like, wow, thanks. Let's go. It's true of sports also. There are those guys who love the match situation. They just love it. They wake up. If it's a boring game, they do nothing. You see nothing. 180 for no loss.
No, I love chaos. I love being chaotic situations. I love clearing out the chaos. If you put me on a dinner table, if there are a lot of plates, I start piling them away and giving it to the waiter, right? So I like the situation.
That's so mean. You can do 200 jobs and you've had about 50 startup successes. He's got that one job and you're taking it away from him. That's not fair. Yeah. All right. So before we go to break, let's quickly look at some of the things. Over 35. So you've been an angel investor with over 35 startups. Is that a real figure? Oh, that's huge. How old are you?
I just turned 40.
That's ridiculous. This is why I hate this story now, because at 40, I've got nothing to show. Not even one. I didn't even build a house, just struggling with a marriage. That's all I can talk about. Anyway, just a quick one. Any of them closer to your heart or perhaps greater challenges? Because I think that is closer to your heart, where the more the obstacle. Without sounding egotistical about it, it's just something you like. It's what you do. So what would have been the ones that stand out? We can't discuss 35, but Vogo, Third Wave, YOLO Bus, Unacademy. Unacademy is, through pandemic, everybody knows. Open Bank. Which one? Which one, if you had to choose one of your children, which one?
No, so, amongst all the 35, 40 that I've invested in so far, I think plenty of them have broken out already. Some of them are in the process of breaking out. In the online space, Unacademy stands out. Trell stands out. Trell is a social commerce platform, which is doing very well. Then Open Bank, which allows small and medium enterprises to bank better with a great interface that they've developed. Those are some on the internet space. Some on. So I've invested in a beer brewing company called Geist. I don't know if you've had it. It's in Bangalore.
I will now.
Yeah, you should. It's fantastic. And I've also invested in Third Wave, which is a coffee chain based out of Bangalore, now spreading its wings. Then I've also invested in media. So I don't know if you've followed the Ken or the Morning Context. So both of these I've invested in. So these are some of the names that have done well. Daily Ninja, of course, was a milk delivery app which sold to Big Basket.
Huge.
Yes, these are some broken up.
Well, I'll just ask a specific one question. Taxi for Sure. I mean, acquired by Ola for over 200 million in 2015. The point being, I thought it was already a crowded market with the 3-4 players that had come in at the private, if you want to call them private entrepreneur taxi service. Why did you think it was a good idea to have Taxi for Sure?
So this was actually over a drunken night between me and my co-founder.
That's the secret.
Yeah. We were kind of discussing various ideas, and none of them were clicking. So we just went and sat and drank that whole evening. And then at the end of the evening, we said, okay, what is that one problem that we face all the time, right? And we said, okay, going from point A to point B, any city you go, the auto rickshaws are overcharging. The radio taxis which were there basically were impossible to book unless you were going to the airport. So we said, okay, let's just explore without calling a call center. Can you book a taxi using technology? So here's a button, you press it, the nearest taxi will come. The taxi can be anything, right? So that's how it started. And the next morning we were, still excited about it. So that's how we started off Taxi for Sure.
Wow. And just obviously it's a great idea because, as you said, any taxi could come. $200 million. Folks who are listening, the guy is not even 40. And this is just one of the many successful steps and ventures. The number we got is conservative to the number of stuff he's actually started. Oh my God. All right. You can start your own country. Aprameya, why don't you start your own country? You can have a few more flexible rules here. Huh?
No, I don't want to much headache. I like my little bubbles of problems that I want to solve.
IVM will run it for you. I have a couple of people. We have less work, no initiative. That's all you need to run a government. Come on. All right, let's call in as we take a break. Young Silvery, Antarik, she's also a wannabe on the. I think every time we have guys like you, and we've had, I'm not saying there are many, but the few that we've had is, I think a lot of people either feel really bad or really inspired. So you start questioning your own life, not just in material worth, but the fact that you have these great ideas one after another, or invested in great ideas because you have to identify them, which is almost the same. Okay, you mentioned one coffee, but this is our favorite coffee, Slay Coffee. I have Slay Coffee right here, which I've kept right here. Hello, Slay. Folks, I have a new skip in my step, which you can't see because my legs are lower part of the body. Most human beings have that, except those who have done gymnastics and can't get out of a position. I've started getting my coffee delivered to me piping hot every morning. Here it is. Slay Coffee makes some of the best tasting coffee you'll ever have. But you probably already know that because I've said this many times. What you may not know though, is some members of my family can be very particular about these COVID norms and hygiene and no contact delivery. Luckily, Slay Coffee have basically pioneered coffee packaging and delivery in all major cities in India, including Bengaluru. So, Aprameya, you can make your order as soon as possible. A handcrafted gourmet coffee experience in spill-proof and temperature-controlled packaging, perfect for these trying times. And they did all this before the pandemic. So, like you, they could see the future. They were able to understand what's coming next. Isn't that just brilliant? They were busy setting trends while others were playing catch-up. So, Slay Coffee is slaying it. Order India's best rated coffee today on Swiggy and Zomato. Use code MySlay to get 50% off on your Slay Coffee. Okay, this is Aprameya Radhakrishna's show, and he's the co-founder of Coup, but I think that's the wrong title that we've given him here on the call that we're doing on StreamYard. I think we should just call him entrepreneur because I think you can't peg him into one thing or the other. And what is this? You guys never stop, is it? Is that the other? There's no end point, is it? You just have to keep going. Wake up on Monday morning and say, okay, I'm bored of this. I have to find something else to challenge me.
No, so I think we all need a purpose, and solving problems is our purpose. So finding new problems as soon as you've solved the older one and bringing it to a place where anybody can run it. So getting to that level as soon as possible is the main goal. so that you can go on to solve something else, hopefully.
But I'm just asking this as an idiot. You've made your money. I mean, look at the kind of cash flow there is here. You've made your equity in the market is huge. I mean, you can, whatever you want to invest in, people are going to say, yes, here's my money. So what kind of motivation is left then? You say challenges, solving problems. Is that really it? Because what's left? I would think the self-actualization point has happened now. You've already got everything and you just sit around and, play cricket with the boys like the old days.
No, so post Taxi for Sure, there was 6 months of lull, right? I had absolutely nothing on my mind. I wasn't doing anything, and I started getting involved in conversations that I've never been involved in. Like my mother would call me and talk to me about some aunt. My wife, if I'm on the phone, would say, go get some milk right now.
It's a sense, you're right. Sense of failure when you're doing the domestic stuff. Huh? Yeah. That is a point. That is a point.
No, it's not that. It's
I think we lost
my co-founder of more than 40 startups. Yeah. I want him back. Unbelievable. Yeah. What's going on? So basically, no matter how powerful and how talented you are, you can't control Wi-Fi. This is a lesson everyone should learn. Don't mess with Wi-Fi. You might be the Prime Minister of Israel or whatever, but you just can't do anything with the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi controls you. You don't control the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
What do you think, Silvery? Do you feel ashamed of your own life? You should be.
Man, especially
under 40.
Yeah. Dude, so many of these entrepreneurs that we talk to are all like quite young and all, right? And they're doing like such cool stuff.
And so unassuming.
And you always think, what am I doing? What have I done with my life?
You'd expect to see some gold or something, maybe a female bodyguard behind him. There's nothing. He's just probably exactly the way he was when he was 20. But I think what he says, I don't know if people listening have picked up. Obviously, it's really kida. It's nothing more than that. I don't think it's about the money. I think a lot of people think, I love money. You watch that show with, what's that judge's name? The show that we like, Kevin O'Leary, where you compete with a product and then they invest in your product.
Shark Tank.
And he keeps talking about money. But I think with these guys, the lesson that we're sort of learning here, especially from what Aprameya himself has said today, it's really not about that. It's just that he won't be able to stop himself. That's why he continues going on with the business, with new businesses, because he can't stop. It's like a singer sings, a dancer dances, and he has to. It's not about the money or the success. Sorry, we've now just talking for you because you're disappeared for a little while. So I took the liberty of discussing your sex life and all that. And everybody was like, yeah, man, this is true. This is all correct. So you watch the show later to find out what you missed. But
So I was just saying, having some purpose every day to impact enough lives. I think amongst the few people in India who actually been blessed to get a good education, get a good job, get enough money. So there are so many people who really have aspiration, right? And they don't know how to go and achieve even the little things in life. So I think if you can bridge that in some way or the other, like in Taxi for Sure, it was the drivers, who's actually their lives changed after Taxi for Sure, Ola, Uber, everybody came. And with Koo, we hope to bring that into the world of expression and being able to, bring out their problems to the biggest people of the country so that everybody knows what's happening in a village as well. It's not just about what's happening in the cities of India.
All right. Young Silvery, before we go into the AMAs, is there anything you'd like to ask as a...
Yeah, absolutely.
You're an entrepreneur in a sense also. You make pizza and don't sell it, but...
I mean, no. Not an entrepreneur. But I do have a question. I'm sure, Aprameya, in the last few days, you must have gotten this question like quite a lot about regarding the Facebook papers. They've just come out and it shows that Facebook has been lying basically to us about the way they internally respond to, say, hate speech or fake news or spreading like false propaganda in a way. So is Koo trying to address these problems that other social media giants are facing right now?
Yes. So one is making sure that every country is comfortable using Koo, right? So we have the advantage of having started in India, one single country. We have the advantage of not being global and having too many rules or laws to follow. So we will adapt to the Indian regulation, Indian law, to make sure that the social platform Koo does not disrupt what is happening in the country. So different countries are at different stages. Some are developed. They have different problems, right? They talk about freedom of speech. They talk about personal data protection, blah, blah, blah. India is still talking about hunger, employment, all of those things, right? So I think different countries have different priorities. and we will align to those priorities. So in India, there are 1%, 2% of the folks who will talk about data privacy, freedom of speech, and everything. So that is being taken care of, while not ignoring the rest, right? So that's what we will do. So, for example, on our website, we're the first ones to put in black and white why we will verify somebody on who and why we won't, right? It is a verification done in the Indian context. So while a global giant will say, I won't verify you, who will? Because we know the real context of the importance of that person, right? Another thing that we're doing is, so internet is filled with a lot of masked people. So in the offline world, if you were to talk to a lot of people in a hall, let's say, and if there were half of them were masked and half of them weren't, you would actually give a lot more weightage to the unmasked people who are real, right? So that has never been brought onto social media. So we are bringing that. So we're building a feature which is a voluntary. You can come and say, okay, this is me, Aprameya, and I've been verified as Aprameya on Coup, and I'm the real person, and I'm talking. Right? So your comments, your coups will get a lot more weightage than the masked guy who is not saying who he is. So there's a lot to be done. And because social media is not just a commercial enterprise, it impacts society in a big way. So a social media company which is only optimized for profits is actually not so good. You should also be optimized for harmony in society. You should also be optimized for making sure that you're growing with society. There's technology and social behavior that will always be ahead of government, right? So you can't have the government lag too behind in their understanding. So I think, it's a constant conversation. There's a lot of scope to improve the way social media works. And, just to answer your question directly, we won't be optimized just for profit. We will also take into consideration the social aspect, technology growing aspects, to make sure that we're much more long lasting, and we don't piss off either the government or the user, or shoot ourselves in the foot by not making money, right? So it's a balance between all three.
Okay.
Silvery, I hope this inspires you to do something more with your life. I'm unhappy with where we are at the moment with our podcast and our 4 viewers or listeners. We have to do a little bit more. His figures are staggering, and I hope it inspires us. Or we should start getting drunk from 11 in the morning, like most failures do around the world. Shall we take
also,
AMAs?
We should. Also, by the way, it just got announced today that Facebook changed its name to Meta. Facebook is now Meta. Yeah. That's the new thing.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I know it's a weird name.
Let's do the Prince thing for the artist formerly known as Facebook. We'll just stick with that. Yeah. The artist formerly known as Facebook. That's it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I'm not doing Meta. I don't like Meta. Why would they do Meta? Firstly, Parsis can't pronounce the T properly. Meta. Won't work. Not doing it.
Like I don't know the details yet, but maybe it's like Google and Alphabet. Like they're making like a
second thing.
Like a bigger. Yeah. Maybe it's that.
Maybe more that.
Yeah.
Too tired of
it. What I've read, they're making a virtual space for all of us to log into, right? So it's not just an app where you can log in and behave like somebody else, but it's a whole world where you can invite your friends over, you can create your environment. So that they're moving towards that, while Facebook remains what it is. So they wanted to make that picture. So that's why it's called Metaverse, and the short form is
Meta. It's not evolving into Meta. It's option B is Meta. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think I injured it today, my arm, but my family just doesn't get it. I was in the gym, doing my usual. I bench press every day. I just want a big chest, nothing else. So I mean, benching away, and I was doing about 500 pounds. I was gritting my teeth, and suddenly my daughter walked in and said, "Dad, have you heard?" And I was like, "Oh, what happened?" But I was still under control. I held the bar properly, and she said, "You won't believe this." I said, "Come on, tell me fast. I'm benching here." And she said, "Well, you can now get Kotak home loans at only 6.5% interest." And obviously, I staggered and hammered by the news, and I couldn't believe it. And so, the bar slipped from my hand, and then, all the weights fell from one side, a boomerang effect, smacked everybody in the gym. 9 people went down. I couldn't believe it. I blame my daughter. I blame Maya. It's completely her fault. Maya, it's your fault. Before doing this, you must always remember, batane se pehle, kripya dhyan rakhiye. You always have to warn people when you have such important news. 6.5%, folks, it's truly incredible. So before taking those 9 people to hospital, and Aprameya, I swear I paid for all the injuries completely, even bought them Iodex and all that to rub later. On the way to hospital, I said to the driver, "Driver, please, Kotak Mahindra Bank pe rokna." I had to go and find out for myself if it's true. Also, check out my new podcast, Come Home to Kotak. It's out now on the IVM Podcast app and website and all other streaming platforms. Maya, never do that. Never do that again. Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Let's get back to the man in question. He's a man who's molding society, as he says, not just making money. I think, again, lessons for all of us. Money is almost like a byproduct. Fame is like a byproduct of what they're trying to do. So let's get into the AMAs and let's see what people want to ask the one and only co-founder of Koo.
Yes, absolutely. The first question comes in, first comment actually comes in from Vineet Khandelwal, who says, कु 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 चोली के पीछे क्या है चोली के पीछे
क्या है my vintage
did okay, sure.
question chole ke piche kya hai? Let's ask him. Aprimaya, do you know what is behind the choli?
The song answers
it. Refer to song. Fair enough. Great answer.
Choli mein dil hai mera. Correct. Yes.
Bas.
Yeah. Okay. Vineet Khandelwal has another question. He says, does the recommendation engine for Koo use machine learning, and anything special Koo is doing on that front?
Or vocal.
Yes. So we're all about recommending the right people for you to follow. Right. So as a social network, we want you to go and follow people of your interest and not just show any kind of content that we have. So we keep learning. So if you follow cricketers, Indian cricketers, we will show you more Indian cricketers to follow. If you follow, let's say, Bollywood folks, we will show you more Bollywood folks to follow. And, other people who are talking about Bollywood on the platform. So this is an ever evolving, part of our business. We keep learning and keep recommending better so that you're happy with the experience on.
What if you follow like really obnoxious people who do obnoxious things on television? You will. Well, you're not judging. There's no judgment. I just want to clarify.
We let people be.
That's democracy. Yeah. Okay, Silvery, next.
Yeah, sure. Next one comes in from Parijat Mishra. He says, I mean, absolutely no offense when I say this at all, but I somehow associate Koo with people who have a particular type of political affiliation. What steps do you guys take?
How much fear in asking the question?
No, not at all. So Koo is an open platform. Anybody can come and express. As I said, we're more inclusive than exclusive. So the more the people come, the merrier is the way we look at it. My observation of why we have that perception is because the biggest headline that we've ever made is when Twitter got into trouble with the government and the government made profiles on Koo. So if the day we make a bigger headline than that, we'll be known for that. But our reality is the same. We
for the record, the government came to Koo. Koo didn't go to the government, which is a different thing altogether. Am I right?
No. So we're very, very grateful that the Indian government actually saw Koo as an alternative to a 15-year-old company built out of America and said that we can build our own, right? And that kind of encouragement. If it was shown by American government to an American company, it would have been seen in a different light. But because it's in India, some folks decide to see it in a very different light, which is untrue. I think every single business in India would love for every Indian to use their product, and especially the most influential folks. And we're very, very lucky that we've gotten that acceptance, not just from the political sphere, but also Bollywood, cricket, everywhere, right? So we've got all of these guys rooting for us, and it puts us in a position where we have to deliver.
And you have Ravi Shankar Prasad who's broken all records apparently amongst politicians on Koo, and amazingly, after he was dropped from the cabinet, he's doing even better.
So he's got 2.2 million followers now on Koo, most followed.
There you go. Oh, he's one of my, as I mentioned before, Silvery, one of my favorites in the BJP, if I'm allowed to say that. There are 3-4 guys I do like. Nitin Gadkari himself, who was Javadekar. There are a few. It's not like we should be more democratic and embrace people. Apramaya is just a businessman. He's like, yeah, I'm just here with the platform. You guys do your thing. Fair enough. Chalo, next.
Next one comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, don't you think a digital aptitude is becoming mandatory for every startup these days? Any suggestions for people who have very little programming language background?
Absolutely. So I think, every business will either be fully digital or will have significant digital dependence going forward, right? So, if you don't have programming language background, make sure that you join a company that has enough people who have programming language background, right? So that you can add things into the company that those guys won't. Like in our company, there are people who don't program, but work on the community side, or people who work with the key accounts that are queuing on the platform. So that is an essential part of a digital company, right? So the business side of a digital company. So make sure you're part of a digital company for sure, if you're very keen on it.
We're charging for these questions that are slightly more, professional oriented. Because if Tarun is trying to start something and he's getting a guy who's, paid the bills in that business answering it, I think there should be some give and take here. Can't be a free service, bro. So Tarun, your bill will be sent to you. Don't worry. You're a regular listener. We appreciate that.
All right. Next one comes from Pradeep Pillai. He says, what was the inspiration for the cool logo bird? I could recall Twitter named its bird Larry T. Bird because Biz Stone was a huge fan of basketball player Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, yeah.
No, I'm a fan of the Maine Pyar Kiya Kabutar.
What a huge letdown, though. From Larry Bird, the Colossus from NBA, from way back when, the only white giant amongst the African American tribe. But yeah, go ahead.
No, Cyrus, with you, I should crack a few PJs at least. No? Like
we can always say it's my fault. Yeah. Kabutar, ja.
No, so as I was saying before, it's basically messages being sent to a lot of people, and the representation of messages being sent to a lot of people is best with the bird, and that's how we came up with the bird. So there is no real person, inspiration here.
Person, but even the logo, the look and anything, sorry. Was there any sort of thing that you liked from your childhood or past? I mean, like...
No, yellow is a color I love. Like Taxi for Sure was yellow. Yellow is a very happy color. It brightens up, at least my mood. So that the yellow in the bird is something that we made sure happened.
Yeah, it's also the color of gold. It's also the color of urine. So it's got lots of different trajectories for me personally. I was told actually with an astrologer that yellow is my lucky color when I was young. And I wore it for about 10 days until I banged the car and then wore blue for the rest of my life. That's another story. Yeah. Okay, so yellow is the color. Suri?
Yep, sure. This one comes from Prithvi. He says, question for Aprameya. Good morning. My biggest concern about apps, especially Indian apps, is the list of unwarranted permissions, which they are notorious for. Have you given this weightage vis-a-vis Koo?
Yeah, so we take very minimal permissions, whatever is required, and we give an option for people to change it in the settings of the app. So we're not very fussy about any user giving us a lot of permission. The more we understand the user, the better the experience on Koo is broadly the philosophy with which we work. It won't be used for other random purposes. Our app is extremely secure against, so we get hacking attempts every day. None of them are able to hack into the system. So pretty confident that any permission that you do give us to enhance your experience won't be misused or by us or somebody else who might want to hack us.
I think all forthcoming apps, not just India but in the world, have to put a disclaimer saying, look, we're not interested in you personally, bro. We don't want your information. Yeah. All right.
Tarun Kaushik has said 50% partnership for Cyrus if/when I start my big company.
What will I do? The security? As in physical security, just standing outside and stopping people.
Just take it. I can't the silent partner.
I can't program. I don't have much contribution. I don't talk rubbish all the time. So catering maybe. I have an interest in food. Catering maybe. I can see. Now that I know that my dosa can be saved. By the way, did you pay attention to the show, Silvery? Aprameya has given us a great piece of advice. If you didn't like the show, at least pick that up on how to save your dosa, which has now lost its texture. And I don't know if it's true, but it's what do you call it? An airtight
air fryer.
Air fryer. Okay, so
I have an air fryer at home, by the way.
So you do. So then just try it and see if it's true. He's saying only for a minute or so, by the way. And
Yeah,
you'll
makes
get
sense,
the
actually.
correct
Yeah, I'll
thing
try
will
it.
come back again. Do it now.
Yeah.
Shut the program and do it now because this is important.
All right. Okay. Chalo, I'll see you. Oh, no, sorry. Later. All right. Next one comes from Vineet Khandelwal. This is the last question. Vineet Khandelwal asks, does social media end up being propaganda machines for political parties? Is Coup doing anything for it to be less used by organizations and popular people, but more by individuals? I think we already asked a similar question. I think your answer could be quite similar as well.
Anybody would want to use Coup because there are a lot of normal people on it, right? It can't be just a place for the famous people to come and talk. New connections need to be made in languages, and that's what we're focused on. And of course, the famous folks will come and want to talk to them. So that's broadly how this will play out. So are we doing something to make sure that more individuals platform? That it is for the individuals, right? Will social media end up being propaganda machines? So we are very true to how we're building it in terms of you build your follower base, and we will make sure that whatever you say goes to your follower base. Now, are we pushing down somebody's thoughts to people who don't follow them? No, we don't do that. So if you're popular, your voice will be sent to all your followers. It's as simple as that. So it's up to the person to use the platform, build a followership, and be able to communicate to that followership whenever they want.
Yeah, I think we've answered that before. It's all about the direction. If the political party is coming to the platform, it's nothing to do with the platform. If the platform goes to the political party, it's something to do with the platform. So I think if you are going soliciting people to come on, be it parties or celebrities or whoever, that's a different take altogether. But if they come on you, just a sense of popularity, I want to be there, I want to further my career or growth or whatever, and you are a neutral platform provider, I have to allow them to be on it. We can't keep going on about this question because at the end of the day, I frankly feel either we are a democracy and work in a democratic world where people just give you a chance to have your voice heard and don't get into the judgment point. I mean, there's a limit, obviously, when you're trying to kill people or something. And I mean, obviously, there'll be a limit. But by and large, I mean, how can you stop people? That's just wrong. That's undemocratic, frankly. I will not stand for it. I will not stand for it.
No, absolutely. So we want everybody to join. We want everybody to express. And if you like what somebody's saying, please follow them, and they'll be encouraged more to create more on Coup. So,
and for all the young men out there who are trying to put up nude pictures of themselves, just stop that. That's really irritating. Just stop that. I enjoyed it for a while. Aprimeya, it's been great talking to you. I mean, you don't need anything from us because you've done so well. And what I really like is that you're so simple and straightforward, which just tells you the real sign of successful people are not the ones who just strut around. I think it's probably the worst sign. It's amazing that you've just been the way you are and obviously have been like this all your life. So we'll be following your career and hope to pick up shares when you go public very shortly.
Thanks a lot, Cyrus. I've been a huge fan. MTV Bakra was my favorite show. Thank you so much for all the entertainment you've provided, and thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, Aprimeya. I'm not dead yet. We'll do some more.
yeah, absolutely. No, I mean to say, it was my favorite show. Please do more.
I'm being gracious. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. This is great. But really, a lot of respect, bro. You've done really well. I mean, it's just amazing. What a story. I hope people get inspired by this. Another in our series of Cyrus Says Real Heroes. Till next time, it's bye-bye. Have a great weekend to everybody and a great Diwali. Although we have a couple of shows next week before we take a little break. See you guys. Bye-bye. Aprimeya. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, actor and author Kalki Koechlin talk about her amazing new book, Elephant in the Womb. As Cyrus and Kalki go through some funny illustrations in the book, Kalki brings up what people don't talk about when it comes to pregnancy. On The Habit Coach, Ashton explains an interesting perspective on the Teflon mindset. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth debates whether thrift stores will remain a niche thing or accepted by the Indian masses. On Press Decode with Vagda, Sareen and Sarah, they discuss how India dropped by 7 spots in the latest Global Hunger Index rankings. On Hansvani, here's this fascinating story. It's titled Helium and it's written by Lalit Karthike and narrated by Casey Shankar. Man, it's such a really, really good thing. Definitely check that out. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Slay Coffee, Intel, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.